bipartisanship. Unfortunately, the president is not working with Republicans. They're using a budget procedure to ram through this $2 trillion in
come on, you guys used the same procedure. Stop it.
Well, we did.
You did the same procedure last time around.
We certainly did, and there's nothing inherently wrong with using the procedure, but if you want to be bipartisan about it, you don't use that procedure, frankly. And this president has said that he wants to be bipartisan, but when he had the opportunity to do it, he's obviously turned away from that.
Congressman, we've got to get through a lot of topics, not just stimulus, but also on regulation. I understand you're on the House Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations as well. Given the events in the last couple of weeks in financial markets, leading the administration is Secretary Yellen. Do you think she needs to recuse herself from this?
Well, I don't know if she needs to recuse herself, but what I want to see from Secretary Yellen is a little bit of caution and deliberation and not a lot of overreaction to this. The broader markets are doing just fine. Obviously, there was volatility with respect to Reddit-fueled trades on GameStop and other AMC and other equities, but that's actually as a result of the advent of zero-cost trading and the democratization of access to the capital markets. That's not a bad thing. And I think what you're seeing is the market's actually functioning fairly well with market discipline setting in both with the hedge funds. We're learning a lot about zero-cost trading and the influx of day trading and what that means for their short positions. It means that short squeezes are very possible. And I think there's market discipline that will set in with these hedge funds and professional Wall Street professionals. On the other hand, I think a lot of the day traders and the small investors are learning about capitalism, learning that fundamentals matter, learning that earnings and valuation matter, and that on the downside of this rally, as investors get in too late in the rally, and as they get too far away from valuation, there is a big risk associated with that too. So the market is actually working. Of course, it's appropriate for the SEC and Congress to look at whether or not any laws have been violated from a market manipulation standpoint, but to me at this point doesn't look like any illegal activity and certainly doesn't look like any systemic risk.
Congressman, there is a larger debate, though, about anonymity on social media and the ability of unknown actors to act manipulatively, to act without oversight from regulators, potentially from within or from outside of the country. How much is the direction of questioning going to go toward that issue?
I think there will be some questions about social media. There's questions about social media all the way around, both in terms of financial marketplaces, but also in the marketplace of ideas. And that's always appropriate for us to look at social media, the role of social media. But I think the more information generally, the better. People need to understand the sources of that information. But at the end of the day, I believe that democratization of access to capital, the advent of low-cost, no-cost trading platforms, and more information is a good thing. It's not illegal to share stock tips or ideas about the equity markets.
Congressman Barr, very quickly, you're not enough time. I don't care about that. What I care about, are we going to endure with another running of the Kentucky Derby May 1st?
Yes, we will. In fact, I've talked to Churchill Downs. They're never going to do what they did last year and shut down the Derby on the first Saturday in May. And that's a good thing. As co-chairman of the Congressional Horse Caucus, we want the Derby to be back on the first Saturday in May.
There we go.
We hope it will be with spectators.
We'll see if we'll get the spectators.
You know, as a foreigner, I'm not sure if that caucus even exists or not.
Congressional Horse City? Is that
does
real?
that exist? Is that a thing?
No, look, you know, there's a lot of betting that goes on in Kentucky.
Really?
There's some speculative trading that we've seen. But you know what I love? I love that you know, a lot of the millennials are participating in the stock market now, and some people have said that millennials are more open to socialism. It looks like from this GameStop story that many millennials are more interested in capitalism. That is a good thing.
I just want to find out who's running the book down on Capitol Hill for the Republicans. Great to catch up, Andy. Let's continue this dialogue. Andy Barr there, Republican from Kentucky. Congressman, thank you. Tom King, Futures Up 8. We've got an important data point in about 5 minutes' time.
It's an important data point, and so important after that good ADP report leading on to tomorrow's jobs report. Again, a good survey there lifting up.
John, I just have to point out that indeed the Congressional Horse Caucus is an actual thing.
There you go.
Congressman Barr and Paul Tonko of New York
Just two people in it.
co-chairing. They're co-chairing the Congressional Horse
Need
Caucus.
to expand
Nice.
that a little bit more.
Are we going to take a bet on
Remote the Monday after.
Yes.
Can you see Lisa
Yes.
there with a mint julep?
Yes.
With the
The hat going.
Love that, Tom.
with your thigh-high boots, Tom?
There we go. Silence. Silence from Keane. Economic data up next from New York. This is Bloomberg. From New York City for our audience worldwide, this is Bloomberg Surveillance live on Bloomberg TV and radio alongside Tom Keane and Lisa Abramowitz. I'm Jonathan Ferro. Your economic data coming out imminently in the United States. Ahead of that, futures higher, up by 8 or 9 points on the S&P 500. We advanced 0.2%. With your economic data in America, here is Michael McKee. Hey, Mike.
Good morning, John. Well, everybody's keeping an eye, of course, on jobless claims. The feeling is that we are going to get a big drop in jobless claims, and we do. 779,000 drops below 800,000 for the first time in about 4 weeks. The forecast was for 830, so that's much better than people anticipated. However, the thing you have to keep in mind is that we are not out of the woods yet, and you and I will talk about this later on your show, I know. With the airline announcements, American Airlines, 13,000 job cuts coming, United Airlines, 14,000